What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Taurean Rain Reloaded channel. If you are new, make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Also be sure to hit that bell and have your notifications set to all so you can be notified whenever I upload a new video or go live. Also be sure to like, comment, and share this content on your various social media platforms. So today I'm going to be talking about an update involving a story that I talked about. I believe it was last year when this occurred, if I'm not mistaken, where you have this monstrosity of a individual in the picture on the right, whose name is Zaria Burgess, who brutally tortured this girl beside him in this picture. Now, this isn't just some random girl that this man brutally tortured for 22 hours. Imagine being tortured for literally an entire day. That means he started at one time in one day and literally was done torturing her until she died around the same time the next day. But the reason why I said that this is not some random girl that he did this to is because this girl happens to be, or happened to be, his daughter, his own biological blood daughter that he did this to. And as you can see, you can definitely tell that there was some melanin in her because her mother was indeed a black woman. But this is who, unfortunately, she had to procreate with. But this man got the righteous sentencing that he deservedly should have gotten, and that was being sentenced to death. Not life in prison, but to death. Unfortunately, I don't know how long it's going to take for him to get that lethal cocktail. It should come sooner rather than later. But the fact of the matter is that this is the proper punishment that he should have received for this crime. So I'm going to go ahead and read this article that's coming from People. It was posted June 6, 2022. After 3 hours of deliberation, a jury handed down the death sentence to a North Carolina dad for the brutal slaying of his teen daughter in 2019. So it was in 2019. Forgive me. Now that I think about it, I said this definitely did happen before Wove It, and I do remember doing a video about this. If I can find the video on it, then I will post it up down somewhere, maybe in the description or the comment sections, because I definitely remember speaking on this. Following a 3-week trial, Joshua Lee Burgess, age 35. This guy is 35. I would have never pegged him as 35. He looks at least 10 years older. Was found guilty of first-degree murder in the killing of his 15-year-old daughter, Zaria Burgess. According to a statement from the Union County District Attorney's Office, the girl's dad slit her throat after, quote-unquote, psychologically and sexually torturing her for 22 hours at his Monroe, North Carolina home on August 18, 2019. Burgess was also convicted of 1 count of statutory rape, 3 counts of statutory sex offense, and 1 count of first-degree sexual exploitation of a minor, according to the statement. He received a minimum of nearly 76 years in prison for those offenses, in addition to the death sentence. This was truly an especially heinous, atrocious, and cruel killing of an innocent child. This case was emotionally taxing for everyone involved. We continue to grieve with and pray for Zaria's mother, the Union County District Attorney's Office said. Investigators say Zaria was murdered during a weekend visit to her father's home. Following her death, Burgess walked into the Union County Sheriff's Office and confessed to killing her, telling deputies the girl's body was still at his house. According to WSOC TV, Burgess strangled his daughter before slitting her throat. In a statement obtained by People, Sheriff Eddie Cathy called Burgess the essence of evil. Burgess stole Zaria from her friends, family, and local community. His statement read, "While we know Zaria is forever gone to us, we hope that today's verdict helps to bring some closure to Zaria's family and friends, and we will continue to keep them in our prayers each day." While Burgess identified several motives throughout a confession provided to UCSO, detectives say the primary motives for the killing appeared to be lust and control. So this guy he was lusting after his own daughter and could not control his urges. And that is crazy. And when you think about it, because in society, she would be seen as a little black girl. Like, there's no way that no one would see her and think that she's passing for anything, which makes you also wonder how he saw her mother. Zaria's cousin, Ditasha, Wadsworth said at the time of her death, she was so young and nobody deserves to leave this world like that, especially by someone they thought was going to protect them and be there for them. It wasn't immediately clear who represented Burgess in court or whether he plans to appeal the death sentence. I don't know why. I say let that death sentence stick. Put him in the chamber as fast as they humanly possibly can. Yeah, but I remember hearing about this story back when it first happened, and it disturbed me then, and it still disturbs me now. She went through 22 hours of torture by, like they said in the article, the person that's supposed to be protecting them, and they said his motives, or one of them or two of them, was lust and control. Those aren't some words that you would want to associate with your offspring. So this guy definitely had some very deep-rooted maniacal issues where he felt that lusting after his own daughter was a good thing. And it also makes me now question, how old is her mother? Or how old was her mother when they were together? Because if you think about it, he's 35. She was 15 at the time. Well, I'm guessing he's 35 now, because they didn't say then 35. He's 35 now, which means he was about 32 when he did this. So he was pretty much barely into his 20s when she was born. Just maybe like 19. I can't really do the math. Maybe 20, but I would say, like I said, the best way to say is barely into his 20s when he said, when he did what he did. Not when he did what he did, but when she was born. But again, it makes me question how old her mother is. Was her mother the same age as him, or was she younger? I'm willing to bet that she was younger. Because listening to or reading that and seeing the motives, lust and control, yeah, something tells me he might have had a fetish for most likely younger black women. And he probably saw the mother of his daughter in her, and he could not help but act on his urges. Because you gotta think, she's 15 years old. She's at that age where a lot of young girls are developing. They're making that transition from being a little girl into growing into a woman. They're in that transition. She's in that transitionary period, and she's probably, a person that's probably never had experience. Y'all can read between the lines with what I'm saying. And in that moment, not only did this man take her life, but he took a moment away from her that if she had survived, she would have been messed up for the rest of her life. Like literally, this girl, whether she lived, even if she lived, she would have been traumatized for the rest of her life. Just on the torture alone. Like I said, if this man did not kill her, she was already mentally going to be destroyed. So he literally took her out before she was literally taken out. And that's really sad when you put that into perspective. But I hope wherever he's going, that he gets tortured. Now, granted, because he's been sentenced to death, he's most likely going to be on death row. So he's not going to probably be in Gen Pop. He's just going to be where the death row inmates are at. And they usually keep them secluded amongst, to themselves until it's time for their number to be called and for them to go on that gurney. But I do offer my condolences to this little girl's family and her friends and her loved ones. I can honestly say that this is actually justice served. Unfortunately, this at the end of the day should not have happened to her. And that's my take on it.